Hey, what's going on, guys? It's your boy K Cross here, back on the video today. Finally getting around to making a video on the whole Carson Wentz trade, because if you didn't know, I'm a Colts fan, and it is what it is. Let's just say that. But first, before I get into it, I want to say that I'm gonna post a video this week. It's not really gonna make much sense because I was supposed to post it last week, but I just never got around to it. For the second week in a row, I'm slacking, but basically, just ignore like the first half of it whenever I'm talking about random stuff that makes no sense. I mean, if you want to act like I posted it last week, then maybe it'll make sense, but just go ahead and ignore that. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and get into the actual thing that I want to talk about, because I'll probably be able to talk about it for more time than I have to talk about it. So let's just go ahead and hop right into it. Carson Wentz is now an Indianapolis Colt for the trade of 2 picks, possible first, as of right now second, and as of probably will be a second up until like 3/4 of the way to the season. So I'm gonna keep saying second, even though people are predicting it's probably gonna end up being a first. I'm just gonna keep saying second, so whatever. And a 3rd round pick in this year's draft. So first things first, I feel like the Colts did win this, even though I would technically be a biased person by saying that they won it. I just think that they did win it because like they have the variable that the 2nd round pick can become a first, and if he doesn't play great within the first 5 games, we can bench him and play our 2nd-year quarterback, Jacob Eason. I think we have a lot of faith in him, and even then, I wouldn't be shocked if we brought back Jacoby Brissett, just because he's a vital portion of the mentality of the team in the locker room. He's a good leader. He'd be good to have just sticking around. Doesn't matter who the quarterback is. It's nice to have a backup quarterback that's confident and can win games if he needs to. I just think that's important, and I think he's a big part of the team. I'd like to see him come back. I think everybody that knows about how he is off the field wants him to come back. He's a pretty good guy, and that's just like the quarterback situation. So if something was to happen, or if he wasn't to play up to the skill level that we expect from him, we have options. We have many options, actually, and exciting options at that. I'd love to see how Jacob Eason plays, and I'd like to give Jacoby Brissett just another chance. Not for like a full season like we did the first time, but give him a couple games, see how he does, just to see if he has improved, because realistically he was a good quarterback all around, except for the fact that we couldn't really stretch the field as well with him. He wasn't a great deep thrower, which at the same time Phillip Rivers really wasn't either, but he was just better at like 30 plus yarders. Even though he couldn't reach it out to 50, he could get it past 30 in, I'd say, probably like 45-ish range, and that was just enough to get the defenses to stay back, and that is something that Jacoby Brissett kind of lacked. So basically, we have a quarterback situation behind Carson Wentz if he doesn't work. So I'm very happy about that. My concerns with Carson Wentz are not the sacks, but the fumbles, because obviously fumbles are a result of being hit, and I don't want to see him taking hits that he doesn't need to be taking. I don't want to see him scrambling with the ball. I don't want to see him running around. I want him to be comfortable in the pocket, which is going to be kind of tough. I understand that there's quarterbacks like this that are just paranoid in the pocket 24/7, because his whole career he's been getting smashed around by defenses, which isn't necessarily true. I guess there was a couple years there where the line wasn't bad, they were holding up, but like last year that line wasn't great, and I just want to make sure he's got a good presence in the pocket, because if he doesn't and he's taking unnecessary shots, he's just going to continue to fumble the ball. And the only time he should be fumbling the ball is whenever he's getting sacked. So within this Colts organization, you shouldn't be getting sacked much either. So like obviously that number of fumbles should go down whenever he comes here, but if it doesn't, that means that he's getting out of the pocket and he's playing unnecessary, or he's making unnecessary plays, trying to be the hero too often, and that's one of my main concerns. Actually, that's my main concern, because he can clean up his interceptions. He throws a lot of 50-50 balls. If you look a little bit earlier in his career than last year, he actually wasn't bad about it. He threw a few obviously here and there, but some of them were really bad, but it seems like a lot of them come off of 50-50 balls and things of that nature. So, it's a concern for sure, but not my big one. Another big concern for me is injury, because even if, he doesn't play that often and we get to keep our first round pick for the next season, we still lost a pick and we're still paying for really a high class quarterback. We're probably going to end up paying him more than Tom Brady made last year, if you think about it like that. So, obviously, I want to see him at least be able to stay in enough to prove himself to us, because if he gets hurt in like the second game of the season and we're like, well, we're going to bring him back next year, then we're paying him a lot of money to do that. So, that's my other concern with it, is just basically the overall salary cap. And my third concern is the locker room. He's been accused of messing up the locker room in the Eagles for a while now. Like, he's apparently been like a crybaby or something, which I don't know if that's necessarily true. It's hard to have a really strong locker room and camaraderie whenever you're losing. So whenever you go like 4-12, it's just tough to basically have a strong locker room. And that's exactly what the Eagles were. And whenever your coach is just not confident in you and things are going against you, the organization feels like it's turning on you. It's hard to not be a diva, I guess, in the locker room. So basically, what I'm saying is, I just hope that he doesn't, come in here and mess with anything. But at the same time, I'm not super concerned about this, because I think right now the Indianapolis locker room is pretty solid. You look at the key players like Darius Leonard and people like I was talking about earlier, Jacoby Brissett, just, Michael Pittman Jr., they're all really good leaders in my opinion. And I think that, if you come into their locker room talking like that, I think Frank Reich and Chris Ballard would much rather stick up for them than they would for Carson Wentz. Even if Frank Reich has a personal connection with Carson Wentz, I just think that Darius Leonard and Michael Pittman Jr., Jacoby Brissett, just people like that, they have a much more say within the organization, and they have much more of a, they together are more impactful than he could ever be, despite, his personal connections. And that's kind of like a concern, but at the same time, I'm not super concerned about it. Now, the thing that keeps me from absolutely hating this trade is the fact that I think that Carson Wentz has a chance to play good. Honestly, I think Frank Reich, has to work with him a lot, obviously, but I think that he has a chance to play good, and I think that Frank Reich can quote unquote fix him, if that's what you want to say. I don't really think he's broken, to be quite honest with you. I think he just needs to get his mojo back, his confidence back, and he'll be fine. Because honestly, the thing to me is, I just think that he is I think that he's fine. I think that he could play well. I just think that he's in a bad situation with Philadelphia. And I think that, if you want to say that, the fans are tougher in Philadelphia because it's a bigger franchise and stuff like that, then you could say that, sure, I don't really care. I don't think that you're going to see, if he comes out playing like he played at Philadelphia, I don't think he's going to see a much bigger difference between the negative impact that he's going to get from fans. I think people underestimate, the Colts organization. They don't put up with much of bad quarterback play. Whenever, if he came in tomorrow and he threw for 36 touchdowns and 5 interceptions, he would still be like the 4th best quarterback in Indianapolis Colts history. He's still got so many people sitting behind. That's why I'm saying, whenever you play for the Colts, you have big shoes to fill. It doesn't matter, because we all remember Peyton Manning, and we all remember Andrew Luck. We all well, not all of us remember Johnny Unitas, but you know what I mean. You have so many legendary quarterbacks to come out of the organization that you have a lot of eyes on you and a lot of pressure to fill those shoes. So basically, what I'm saying is, like you could say that the fans aren't going to be as hateful or whatever, but I'm not going to agree with that statement. However, I will say that the fans here are going to be more welcoming than the Philadelphia fans probably are, and that we're going to try to make it work, right? Like, we're not going to be like, even though we didn't want this trade to happen, we're going to put or whatever that one saying is, we're going to tuck our tails or whatever, and we're just going to go with it. We're going to push for it. We're going to cheer on Carson Wentz because he is our quarterback, and it doesn't matter if we like the trade or if we like him. He's our quarterback, and we're going to cheer for him. I personally didn't like Phillip Rivers. Like, I honestly really didn't like Phillip Rivers. I would have rather taken Carson Wentz over Phillip Rivers last year, but like, once he came in, I cheered for him, and now I honestly have a newfound respect for him. And I just, you know what I mean? Like, it's just different. Like, you come here and we're going to get behind you. We're going to be fans. Like, it doesn't matter, you know, who you are or what you've done. If you're the quarterback, we're going to get behind you. And I think that's one thing that was lacking in Philadelphia, was that nobody really got behind him, especially after Nick Foles came in and won the Super Bowl. Like, you got to look at it like that. Like, the backup came in and won the Super Bowl, and now it's just kind of like everybody wants to see Nick Foles over Carson Wentz. You know, he was the poster boy for the Super Bowl. Nobody gave Carson Wentz credit. I just think all these things kind of led to his confidence, you know, his ego collapsing, and that was a big part of what messed up his game, what kind of killed his flow. And it's just, like, altogether it sucks, and I just think that was what the difference between Philadelphia and Indianapolis is going to be. I'm very confident that he will have a good season, or he won't play enough to give away the first round pick. Like, I think this is one of those things where it's like a 6-game experiment. If you don't prove yourself in 6 games, you're getting benched. And that's why I feel like this is a good trade, and I'm confident in it. Honestly, I don't think Carson Wentz is that bad of a quarterback, but I really didn't want him, to be quite honest with you. However, I'm going to get behind him because that's what he needs. He needs his confidence back. He needs a city behind him, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to put the whole state behind him, and we're just going to, you know, cheer for him. And that's kind of where I stand on the whole point, and I hope that, you know, hope that he does well, but that's just kind of my opinion on the matter, and I will see you guys later. That's all I got for today. Peace out.